There are many misunderstandings surrounding the history of witch trials. Some critics of religion point to the Church's handling of witch hunts to portray a straightforward image of a sinister medieval church. However, the reality is far more nuanced. While sorcery dates back to ancient times, witchcraft, often understood as the use of dark or harmful magic, only gained widespread attention once Christianity became the dominant faith in the West. Although witch trials are frequently depicted as products of the Dark Ages, they only became prevalent in the later medieval and early modern period, roughly 1400 to 1700. Initially, the Church dismissed witchcraft as a genuine phenomenon, considering it a pagan superstition. The Canon Episcopi, a section of canon law from the 10th to 11th centuries, states that dream visions were commonly mistaken for physical manifestations of demonic influence. This text encourages priests to instruct their congregations that these visions are merely products of the imagination. While the text condemns divination and magic as dangerous practices, it describes early witchcraft as an attempt by some wicked women to engage in devil worship rather than actual magical powers. The Canon Episcopi remained an authoritative source on witchcraft and was referenced by skeptics well into the 17th century. Nonetheless, accusations of witchcraft persisted, and the Inquisition provided a system to examine these cases. In 1329, a French inquisitor sentenced a Carmelite friar named Peter Ricordi to life imprisonment for reportedly conjuring demons, seducing women, and sacrificing a butterfly to Satan. His sentence frequently used the Latin word sortilegia, which had become associated with witchcraft. Witch trials were still rare in the 15th century, but challenges to the Canon Episcopi arose as prominent clergymen argued against its teachings, citing a need to address rising disbelief in demonic activity. The most influential work that framed witchcraft as a real threat was the Malleus Maleficarum, or Hammer Against Witches. Authored by Dominican priest Heinrich Kramer in 1484, this text served as a manual on combating witchcraft. The Malleus argued that sorcery should be classified as heresy, which was punishable by death. During this period, heretics were often burned at the stake, and the manual suggested that witches faced the same fate. Although Kramer's local bishop dismissed him as senile and crazy, and later expelled him from his diocese, the work's popularity only grew. This text helped cement the image of the witch as an evil woman, an image that endures today. Kramer even traveled to Venice to lecture on witchcraft at the invitation of the head of the Dominicans. Hey, before we continue, we would like to ask for your help. Click the subscribe button so we can continue creating content for you. It's easy and would help us a lot. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Thank you. A contemporary writer, Hermann Lohr, remarked that Germany was the most terrified place on earth because witch trials affected German ecclesiastical lands far more than France, Spain, Italy, or Protestant territories. Despite this observation, Protestant nations also conducted witch trials, sometimes involving royalty. In 1590, King James VI of Scotland developed a fear of witches after encountering rough weather en route to Scotland with his bride, Anne of Denmark. Suspecting witchcraft, James personally questioned the accused and established a royal commission to investigate, endorsing torture in interrogations. In 1597, James published Démonologie, a book warning of the threat posed by witches and detailing their methods. This work is thought to have influenced Shakespeare's portrayal of witches in Macbeth. By the late 17th century, witch trials extended beyond Europe, most notably to the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts. However, skepticism about the phenomenon was rising. and critics of witch hunting practices gained support. In 1635, the Roman Inquisition acknowledged that many witch trials had been poorly managed, stating that the Inquisition has found scarcely one trial conducted legally. Over time, scholars realized that earlier estimates of the frequency of witch trials were often exaggerated. One widely cited but misleading source was Histoire de l'Inquisition en France by Étienne Léon de la Motte Langon, published in 1829. La Motte Langon described mass trials in southern France that led to hundreds of executions, claiming to have based his account on original sources. However, it was only in the 1970s that historians discovered many of his sources were dubious or fabricated. By then, the idea of rampant medieval witch hunts had already taken root in popular culture. So, how frequent were witch hunts and executions? Historian Brian Levac, in his Oxford Handbook of Witchcraft, estimates around 100,000 trials between 1400 and 1775. Although significant, this number is spread across nearly 400 years and the whole of Europe and British America, making the scale smaller than often imagined. Moreover, only about half of these trials ended in convictions. In conclusion, the medieval and early modern periods weren't characterized by rampant witch-hunting mobs. Rather, witch trials were sporadic, and for much of the period, the Church actually taught against the belief in witchcraft. Now it's your turn to participate. Do you believe that witchcraft really exists? Leave your comments, and please don't forget to subscribe, like the video and share it with your friends. Catch you next time.